What's up, fellas?
What's happening?
Community Rip Live right here on Stocktwits. It's 2 p.m. on Wednesday. It's your boy Bags with JFDI, Nick, and Gautam GPAISA, which means all the money that has been freely given away by this show many times. We're here. Hey, what's up? How you guys feeling? We're waiting on Fed Chair Powell to say something. Did he say something yet? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
NQs or whatever. Small caps are okay. Not saying anything so far in terms of
nothing's hit the tape, but we have this Fed meeting which is concluding, and in December's the last Fed meeting, and we're expecting at least one more interest rate cut, and I'm eagerly waiting. I keep looking. I don't see it, but anyway, we will move right on, and when we get that information, we will share it with you right here. Jay Powell's going to come on the show after he wraps up his presser, so we'll be here for that. Can't wait to see him. Nick, what are you going to ask Jay Peasy?
I don't even know. What should I ask him, honestly? I don't think it really even matters.
Should you be short in the market? I don't know.
Fuck no. I will not be short in the market. At least that doesn't know.
Hard pass from Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, GP, we're jumping around a little bit. I've got the rundown here, but speaking of shorting, you just had a really successful short that you called out while we were in Coronado last week at Stocktoberfest, which before we go any further, I'll let you explain that. First, thanks to everyone at Stocktwits. Stocktoberfest was an amazing time. I loved being around everyone, all the different traders, investors, all the folks who were there. It was awesome. You can't pick a better spot than Coronado. But anyway, thank you to everyone. Thanks, Howard, Rob, Ryan. We got to have brunch with producer Ryan, and it was awesome. But guys, you want to talk about Stocktoberfest, or GP, do you want to go straight to your call that you made last week in person?
No, so yeah, if you guys have never experienced Stocktoberfest, it is with Howard at the helm. It has returned, from what I understand, talking to other people, to its greatness, and if not beyond. I think everyone was excited about what the prospects of Stocktwits is and could be, and if Stocktoberfest is any little hint towards what it could be, I think we're all going to be excited about what products and what offerings and what the team here. Shout out to Ryan, our producer here, that we got a chance to meet in person. They're up to big things. So looking forward to it. And if you haven't gotten a chance to get out there, remember it's a very intense social setting. You're in a very social on environment. So bring your A game, but it was an amazing experience. So thank you guys for hosting us and getting us out there, and for a chance to share my ideas as well.
Nick, you got anything to say about Stocktoberfest?
Yeah, no, it was a blast. I enjoyed all of it. The social, getting together, for a lot of, prop and retail, it's kind of a lonely game. And so getting together and, just being able to shoot the shit, it was a blast. I think the dinners were probably the most enjoyable and memorable time of my trip out there.
Yeah, and I think next year, Ryan, this is just a content idea. I've got to fill out my feedback form for you guys. But Ryan, I know you're listening. Next year, let's just live stream me the whole time, and I'll get all these conversations that are happening at dinner. And I think that's fabulous content. Anyway.
The conversation between LexTrading and I during dinner on
and shout out to Lex.
Yeah, shout out to Lex for being a good sport as well, and hearing me berate UNH a little bit. But just having open dialogues around stocks and stuff is always a great place to be. And deferring opinions is what makes a market. So it's never personal. It's always business, or in our case, it's always technicals. So shout out to everyone who participated.
I'm sorry to cut you off, GP, but did I hear Ryan crack the mic and actually enter the show?
I think he did.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's the voice of God for us, but you guys can't. Anyway, Fed cuts rates again as shutdown clouds view of economy. That just hit the wire. So we have a rate cut. So hooray for all the people who are long.
Yeah.
Is that how you see it, Nick? Do you care?
Yeah, no, I don't really care what they do. I care more just, again, like kind of how we react more than anything. And then with obviously like Mag kind of reporting tonight, I was kind of a little bit surprised that they ran it into the meeting and into EPS, but whatever, it is what it is. I kind of would have rather. I don't know. The sell the news stuff is tough for me. Like I'd rather be able to like buy it pulling in or like being able to kind of sit and hold through like a announcement where it does kind of gap and go rather than it is.
Guys, they ended QT. That's the part that's important here.
Sure.
They're ending quantitative tightening. So you're entering an easing cycle. Obviously rate cuts are part of that, but them reducing their balance sheet stop reducing their balance sheet is good for overall assets. And now we'll see if all of that was priced in already or the markets are going to take this and run with it. And based on what small caps have done for 4 years, I would assume it's not priced in, but let's go for it.
Let's pull up the old Q's chart. I saw a little bit of red on the reaction, but with a bounce there. The old adage is the first move's the false move, and that's an adage because it happens so often. So just something to be wary. I'm not trying to tell you how to trade or what to trade. Just be careful on these binary event days. There's a lot of chop, so hopefully you know what you're doing if you're trading that. Okay, back to GP's call.
Oh, UNH.
Yeah, no. We'll get into the UNH LexTrading beef with back and forth on what's a good about that whole thing. But GP, gold.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Monday night. We were chatting, and I was like, I'm short gold, right? And it was a simple. It's been extended. It's slowing down momentum. Took a short 8 points versus the all-time highs. That was my second attempt at it. So, that's fine. I got stopped out of the first one, but the second one's usually better for me. I've found in the past. So the first one's a feeler. The second one, I went short gold puts for January as well as gold futures, GC at 43.85. I covered in the 41.20 range. It was the biggest drawdown, single day drawdown in gold in 12 years, 13 years, something like that. It was waking up and seeing a 6% down day in gold was fantastic. But I think that has created the liquidity here for going long gold here, right? First test of the 4-hour 50 SMA, we broke it, we reclaimed it. We've been testing and bouncing versus it over the last 10 to 12 hours, and I think your risk to reward to be long gold here for the next potential leg up after it creates some liquidity. I don't mean just some, right? Biggest move in 12, 13 years. Created a lot of liquidity. Everyone's now scared that gold is topped, which to me is the recipe to go higher. It was a perfect test of the 9-week moving average as well. If you go to the gold futures.
Which ticker is that?
GC.
I thought I had it up in my watch list, but I did not.
You thinking like 4,500?
You have to go to the weekly, but yeah.
I'm getting there.
I think higher, Nick.
Right? I'm sorry. Like on the GC, like closer to like 48 to like 5,000.
Yeah, so I would just take this range and add it to the all-time highs, right?
Okay.
So this range is what, 500 points or so, right? So from here to 4,900 to 5,000, anything that goes to 4,900 typically goes to 5,000.
Yeah.
So I would say so you have a decent upside here. But you see it right here, perfect 9-week moving average. It was a back test liquidity on actually lower volume. Follow through is also on lower volume. This to me is a great recipe. You have your defined ranges to be long gold, and I don't think you should be short anymore. It was the first pullback in a monstrous run.
And I don't
9 out of 10 times or 99 out of 100 times, that's typically viable. If it breaks the 4-hour 200 SMA, get out, right? Like it's really that simple, which I think is sitting at 39.50 on the futures or 39.60, somewhere around there. I don't have the chart in front of me right now, but you have a 1% risk, yeah. 1 or 2% risk to go long. I like the odds, and I love the back test and everyone calling for the top in gold, the parabolic top. And I was like, I don't think people understand what parabolas are, but whatever. That's all.
What is a parabola then, Mr. Smarty Pants?
I don't think you have a move
You're not saying this is a fucking parabola?
No. This is an expansion, right?
That's a monthly view.
You have 15 years of a base. That's a breakout. That's not a parabola. That's a breakout. Parabolas are what's going to happen from here, right? Like that's the next leg is the parabolas. I don't think you underperform for 15 years and then the first 100% move off the monster base becomes your parabola. So that's like everyone talks about stage 1, stage 2 conversations. Like this is a base breakout. This is a monster base breakout. And you just had a back test to grab some liquidity to go higher. That's my opinion.
Okay, well, and Vestopedia disagrees with your definition of parabola, but we'll move on.
Vestopedia does not trade actively.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I can give you the exact definition if you'd like that, but we'll just say you're right and keep it moving. How about that?
You know what's a parabola?
Tell me.
RGTI.
Sure.
Rigatoni.
And you hate you some rigatoni, I know.
I had to decline that at dinner, so for sure.
So you would say this is more of a parabola than gold is,
right? Like so, look at the initial parabola on rigatoni, right?
Yeah, that's shot straight up,
right? And then you still had the first pullback, which then became your second leg of the parabola, right? So this is the conversation here is like, and this is a stock that makes zero fundamentals, and just had a bigger move than Apple has had in 17 years. So, yeah, these are parabolas. I think gold is an asset that people like to own, so they're looking for, and they've been underperforming for years, right? So, base breakout, first back test, we go higher.
Okay. I'm going to let the chat decide if we should continue beefing over parabola. I choose not to, but I'm a man of the people, and I will do the will of the people. Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
I was really curious just about Nvidia. You know, I love me some Nvidia, and you know that I love me some semiconductors. This is the little doodad that we did last week or the week before, because we weren't here last week. We were in Coronado. But 5 trillion. All right, 5 trillion market cap now for Nvidia. My question is to you. I'm old enough to remember when we had a $1 trillion company and then a $2 trillion company, and then we had multiple $1 trillion companies. And every time I saw that headline, Nick, you know, I think you know where I'm probably going to go with this. Every time I saw that headline, it was like, oh, well, how much farther can it go? It's the highest, it's the largest stock in the market, blah, blah, blah. Based on our conversation yesterday on Cookie, and you can go check that podcast out on either my or Nick's YouTube. Are you catching the vapors that Nvidia is just too big and there's limited upside here?
I don't think the upside is limited. You know, where it stops, I have absolutely no clue. Like I would just be taking it kind of a a trade at a time, a trade and a setup at a time. Especially if you're taking like a newer position here. If you're already long, like you're sitting fucking pretty, like just don't even bother with it. I mean, I do have kind of a shorter term measured move up to like kind of mid 260s, and I'd obviously, if that was the case, I'd probably kind of end up rounding up. I think it would probably overshoot to like 300, but
Woo!
kind of like, this is a kind of a prime example of like one of those those conversations we had in San Diego where it was like, we're talking about expensive stocks staying expensive, and again, like I'm not gonna put like a cap on like where I think this thing can go. Like I think ultimately, price is gonna ebb and flow, and again, you can just kind of take the trades as they come, but you're fighting a tidal wave. Like you're fighting a motherfucking tidal wave. I don't know why I would be.
But it's not a reason to all of a sudden change your thesis on Nvidia, right? Just because it's
no.
now 5 trillion, the largest stock on the block. Like, I feel like when that happened for Apple, when that happened for Microsoft, when that happened for Tesla, when that happened for Nvidia the first time, like it just seemed to be the narrative of, oh my God, how much more can they grow?
It's so big that it does, like you can't even. Can you really put it into perspective?
No.
Like, so then to me, like it doesn't fucking matter. Like it could be whatever the headline is, whatever the number is. Like oh man, okay.
I think yeah, it's hard to figure out the number, but this, like, I think what people are forgetting is this number doesn't include China. And if China comes out, maybe the run here is that anticipating that China and US have a deal and Nvidia re-enters. That's why we got the market cap expansion here. But this doesn't even factor into the second biggest economy on the planet getting Nvidia chips, right? Maybe they get it through the back channels, but officially it's not something they can actually recognize or whatever. And I think that's the important part of this conversation is, yeah, this doesn't even include the world, right? Like this is just a bunch of mega caps, as people have been calling it, circle jerking themselves for the last few months. But
if you pop out to the weekly, again from like a technical point of view, it's like, dude, the fucking thing just keeps setting up and setting up and setting up. There's, other than probably the as price kind of took out the longer term, like the 30 and the 40 week.
Yeah.
And kind of in March. And then obviously we kind of took out those lows with the tariff lows, but like ultimately end up putting in kind of that double bottom.
Yep.
And it's really just had no reason to, like, I think it would have been tough to hold through that tariff spike low. So like I can understand why somebody would have been selling out of a position there. But either way, I ended up building out a range, and you had to kind of get back involved. I don't know. That's just kind of how I keep looking at it. It's like a gift that keeps on giving. It's like, what do you?
Sorry, Nick. It gave you like 4 weeks to get back in, even if you did capitulate.
Totally, exactly. So
and on the back end of Nvidia, I think people are just missing what's going on in Google as well, right? Like,
I couldn't agree more, GP.
Right, and so like
Google and Nvidia almost look identical.
Yeah, and so you're looking at number 1 and number 2 leaders in AI is what the market thinks, right? And they're both in tandem, consolidating and breaking higher. Google, the same setup as Nvidia, backtest the breakout and then go. And so we can talk about Nvidia as well, but Google's just hand in hand pushing together, right? Like,
Speaking of our boy LexTrading, he's long Google, and he bought back here where I said I thought it was a buy, and he's like, I don't know if I would buy it right here, and I said I would, right? I was pretty adamant about that, and you're only up roughly 10% from where I said I would buy it right here. So I like it. I like it a lot. You know, I love my mega cap techs. But yeah, Google's the name I wish I had held longer for sure.
Yeah, I made a educated decision to because I was long Google from like the 2022 lows, and so I made a decision to get out in the 170s for like a little bit over double that, and Amazon I cleared to make space for other stuff. I'm happy that I did it because that other stuff was AMD.
Yes.
So yeah, AMD was part of that equation. So was Lemonade and a few other things. So I don't mind it, but I wish I had the infinite money glitch in my account, so I could have kept both and just bought other stuff. But that's not how this works.
So JPAL said 1/4 point. The presser is coming up momentarily. We'll have him on the show right after that. That's the hope, as always. Is JPAL the greatest Fed chair of our time? Is he just the best?
No,
he's not. Are you gonna say Greenspan is?
He's making some of the biggest mistakes on the planet, but the economy and these companies and AI is bailing him out consistently. He was late to the party on inflation.
My brother,
dude, he was over a year late on inflation, and now he's close to a year late on cutting the cycle. Like, okay, fine, he's been forgiven, right? Like, what do we say? In bull markets, you get forgiven, right, for your lack of discipline. And just because the markets are doing well, it doesn't mean he's the greatest chair of all time. He's
February of 2018. So this is, well, let's just cut that in half. That's when he became the Fed chair, and he's only up 154% on the S&P 500. Gosh, he sucks.
I'd argue that Trump is the greatest president of all time if you're making that statement. Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, you've made that argument in the past, so I won't belabor that point.
Well, ever since he took over, we've had the biggest breakout since whatever, but that's a whole different conversation.
Just to dispel some of the things you said, GP. First, I wouldn't discredit him for what has happened, and I wouldn't credit him for everything that has been wrong, because historically the Federal Reserve has been very slow on making changes, whether it's too late or too early. They're never too early, right? They never get to the party on time, and they never leave when they're supposed to leave. So that's just not on him. I think that's systematic of the institution, right? So let's not throw that on him. And yeah, we can argue, like, look at the market over the course of time. Yes, of course it's up and to the right. But I would argue on behalf of my boy Jay Powell, he has guided us pretty successfully, regardless of how you say the market has bailed us out. Like, you know, you're not Phil Jackson or Greg Popovich without the right players around you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could give two shits. So
no, Nick, this was your segment. I knew you were going to jump in on this the most.
I'm just saying, like, all I care about is how the market reacts. I don't really care about who's the Fed and what they're doing and cutting this, raising that. Like, it has no bearing on my life. No, so all I care about is how the market reacts, and if, like, it's in alignment with my current positions, which obviously I'm positioned alongside. So I'm hoping that this market responds favorably or bullish. But you know, I don't know. I've gotten caught up in that, you know, before. It's like, I feel like it's like, you know, like it's like people whining about the referee, you know,
right?
You know, you lose at the end of the game and like it was the ref's fault. They made a poor call. Like, who gives a shit? Like, you just got to play the.
You lost. Keep it moving.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with like the Fed. It's like, listen, this is what they're doing. This is how they're doing it, and you can either hop on their train or not. That's all.
That's why I love you, Nick.
I believe the statement was, isn't he?
No nonsense right there. Just knock it out of the park.
I believe the statement was, isn't he the greatest Fed chair of all time? So
yeah, that's my proposal.
Yeah. So I would argue that he's not. He's just a product of the system, which is late to the party, which is, you just said it, historically, it's what they do. So historically, he's in line with the same level of bullshit that they've been doing.
Okay.
Regardless, I don't think it makes.
You're allowed to hold an opinion that's wrong. I mean, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Speaking of opinions that's wrong, I've got a chart up on the screen that we have both been wrong on, but GP's going to fight to the dickens that he's not wrong. So GP, UNH, this comes full circle back to our conversation, or the conversation I should say you were having with our friend LexTrading. He went long UNH and has done fabulous. We both are on the record, GP and I, of saying we don't want to be involved with UNH, and we see some downsides still yet to come. GP, do you still hold that stance a week later or months later from the original fall off from UNH?
Yeah, let's clarify. We were wrong, not necessarily. I didn't want to go long because I think there's a back test coming. We talked about it. The back test can result in mean reversion, which is to the 400 area. And we got to the 400 level area, and now we're rejecting it. So the thesis is that we go back, we undercut these lows, and then we have liquidity. So that's always been the thesis. Doesn't mean just because you're going up 40% after being down 80%, you're miraculously awesome about this shit, right? You're still down a year. So no, not you. I'm saying overall, this conversation is you're still grossly underperforming every single stock in the S&P.
Not if you bought that dip or any of those two dips right there.
UNHs, not individuals. UNHs.
Sure. And I'm not arguing that point. I want to go back to what you were saying about being a product of the system, right? That you were just saying about the Fed chair. I think being early, like we have complained or said that they were never early enough, being early can also still be wrong. And I think it's important for us to own that. But Nick, I'm curious on what your take is of UNH, or if anything's changed.
UNH? No, but I kind of like just purely looking at it as like a vehicle to trade. I mean, I actually do kind of like the setup. But that would have been, I mean, it wasn't my kind of trade, but like if let's say it was on my radar and I was really looking to trade this, which I'm kind of kicking myself actually for not, just considering how it's set up. But you had that spike low back in May.
Yep.
And then price rolled back over, retested that. So just looking at the chart, there's like basically two entries in my eyes. It's either on August 12th. And the reason I say August 12th is because that's a definitive close above the low that it made back in May. And if you're going to, let's say I entered there, I'd probably have a pretty loose stop. Like I'm not really, probably around like 240s or something. But then the other entry was really versus the low of that gap up. So like on August 15th, it had that big gap up and then it went sideways for like 3 weeks. You had almost 3 opportunities to snag an entry versus the low of that candle, which was basically like let's just call it 295. And the reason I say that is because you had a couple moving averages curling under price. Like if you were going to be entering versus the low of that gap up candle, you could have easily just thrown a stop around like, I don't know, 275, 280. So those were kind of the 2 entries I would have been like looking at. Obviously hindsight's 2020. Like, just in looking back, that's kind of how I think I would have been looking through it. I can't say I would have been chasing the kind of the breakout where it kind of had the opportunity to like build out an island reversal, but it didn't do it. It just kind of gap below it and then ran. So what was that? September 9th. I like that. That wouldn't have been my kind of entry, especially in this kind of like beat down name. But time frame matters. So like if you're looking to throw on or like reshort this thing or cover a short, I don't know, like right up where we're at and where we're kind of selling off from. I mean, it's not a bad spot to take a short. It's just
don't overstay your welcome.
Yeah, and like to the short side in general, like I don't know. Again, you're kind of fighting the overall trend of the market. So
that's the
at least
part,
like you had the tape at your back as price was kind of rallying off the August lows there. So like if all of a sudden weakness hit the tape in general, like we sold like everything fucking starts selling off, well then this might not be a bad short to go after. That's just kind of how I would be looking at it. But
and that was the trade. That's the one I put on, which was short against the gap, right? If the gap fills and goes higher, I was wrong. That's it.
I'm not mad at you for being wrong, GP. I still love you.
I don't know what his time frame is. I mean, I would imagine he's looking to hold this thing kind of.
Yeah, he's long term. Yeah, Lex is long term. I mean, the question that GP kept asking him, what happened if it goes to here? Or if I'll buy more. I'll buy more. Yeah. I'll buy more. Sure. Right. So he's long. He's going to stay long. And I'm not here to espouse the virtues of United Health by any means. I just think it's been a good trade if you caught either one of those bottoms.
Yeah, and so the reason I talk about this is because we've been doing this for a long time, right? And we all know when we have these declines. So this is why I have the conversations, because I think it helps expand people's views and realistic timeframes, right? And the realistic timeframes are that when you have these moves, these 61 to 78% drawdowns, we've seen it in the market numerous times over the last 4 years, right? We're seeing it today in Fiserv as well. Everything meets its maker ultimately at some point. And UNH was a product of that conversation. Yeah. And now what happens is it creates a base. And this base is, we've called it a stage one base. This stage one base can last a really long time and frustrate you and crush your soul in the process, right? We look at my
trap your money.
Huh?
And trap your money.
Trap your money. So that's why I didn't have any interest on taking the first bottom, right? We talked about this then too. I'm waiting for the second bottom. If it never comes, I could care less. Like I could care less. There are so many stocks in the market, not to sit here. But the reason I educate or I try to educate and have these conversations is because, look, we went through it with Wayfair. How many times did I take Wayfair long in my quarterly picks to only watch it completely fail at the top of the base?
At least 2, if not 3 times. Yeah.
So, and now what's it doing? It's breaking out of its base. So stage one bases are meant to crush your soul just a little bit at a time. And then when it's finally ready to go, you're going to be selling half your position and then watch the stock go nuts on only half your position after being tortured and tormented for a long time. Right. So I prefer stage two breakouts. They're cleaner. They're more precise. They're more concise. This is what they call the wave 3 conversation, right? It's up and to the right in that process. We're seeing it in names like Palantir, Hood, right? Like these are all stage 1 base breakouts. They're the wave 3 conversation and market selling off. Okay.
I mean, I go back to the Google call when we were talking about Google back in what was that, April or May, and I really wanted to retest of that 140 area, and I never got it right, and I was wrong about that, and I regret being wrong about that. But just like you said, GP, it's on to the next one. There are other things to be involved with. Sometimes the best thing to do is just move on, right? And just go on to the next one. And whether you get it right or wrong, who cares? Just you got to keep pitching.
Yep.
You got to keep pitching. But you brought up Fiserv, and guys, I'm not invested in Fiserv. I've never been invested in Fiserv, but a 43% decline in a day off of missed earnings and changed guidance. This is a stock, Nick, and you're the one who is always invested in the more high dollar stocks. Yes, the chart was already breaking down, but if anybody can say with a straight face that they would expect a large company such as Fiserv to all of a sudden hit a 44% day down, I'm not from that planet. So educate me on why you would think that could happen.
I certainly wouldn't. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm admittedly very poor at playing the short side, and like even in a bear market, like I find the violent rallies difficult to sit through, even if I am on the right side, even if I am on the short side, and then like the trade is working. So again, it's like if you were short this thing, like great, like you were definitely in alignment with the trend on this thing, like ever since. See, it looks like, I mean, really April, outside of April, you probably shouldn't have. You should have been pretty defensive post April if you were in this for whatever reason. What was the news that hit it that crushed it today?
Well, they had earnings, and they didn't
assumed,
they changed guidance and missed, and it's a 40% change. I think, coming back to our UNH discussion, you see these big red bars, and for a company like this, 16% is a huge down day, right? And I don't know what that loss is. 22%, that is a huge gap down, right? And I think a lot of times we're trained to just keep on by the dip, no matter what the dip's dipping, especially in the stocks that you have a bias toward. But this is one that just has me scratching my head, guys. GP, I mean, you were the one who said before we got on, was like, look at it, it's already breaking down.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about Pfizer.
No, Fiserv.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
It's on the screen.
I know. Anyway. I'm saying pre-show. I thought you guys were talking about Pfizer.
Oh yeah, no, Fiserv. Yes, FI. GP, is this just buying the dip gone wrong? Is this buyable now? I don't want to put you on the spot to say stay away or I'm going to short it. I don't want this to be a UNH part 2. But this is a significant decline from highs of about.
Does Granite Shares have any levered ETFs I could buy?
I don't know. Shout out to Granite Shares.
To me, it's the final flush, right? This is that liquidity. That's it. There's no one left to sell. And now it's got to base and build and do all that stuff. So similar conversation as UNH. You can buy it here and then be frustrated 6 to 9 months from now when it retests this area. Close enough. Doesn't have to be a double bottom at the. A lot of them are undercuts and flushes on lower volume, but it's the psychology we've talked about many times over the podcast here, which is the first buyers who are buying at 230 or whatever the price is, 71 here, right on Fiserv, and they get a double. They're not going to sit around to figure out whether they're going to go back and lose that double. So they're clearing out their stuff, which is what causes the secondary bottom, which is why it doesn't happen in 4 weeks or 3 weeks. It's typically 6 to 9 months later. They've been holding for 6 to 9 months. They don't want to give up all their gains, and those people then start to sell out, and the secondary bottom is what happens. So as much as I think Fiserv is bottomed here, I have no desire to be in this, just like I don't, just like everything else that's gone through this cycle.
I mean, we're talking about a company that trades roughly 2 to 3 million shares a day, right? And right now we have a deficit between buyers and sellers of over 6 million shares, 32 to the downside, 26 to the upside. So that's ridiculous. I mean, again, if anybody can look at me and actually say with a straight face, like, this is normal, or this is what I would expect a capitalized company such as Fiserv to do, I don't know what planet you're from.
It's going to be the second highest weekly volume as of today. I don't know what the rest of the week, since 2001. So you're looking at capitulation on almost every time frame. Just be patient. If they pay a dividend, maybe it's worth holding. Not in my camp of things. I do not want to experience the Wayfair highs and lows and joys. Like everything else, I don't know anything about this company. I don't know if it was a big earnings thing because multiple customers have stepped away and they're going to AI or whatever. I don't know if there's a fundamental conversation, but technically it's capitulation on multiple times.
AI was brought up. They are trying to move some things in AI. And if we look at the why it's trending on Stocktwits, which I love, significant stop drop following disappointing earnings and a lowered outlook, which has sparked debates about a potential short squeeze and whether the sell-off is an overreaction. So, you guys know how I feel about overreactions. I actually love them. Anyway, speaking of overreactions, let's go back to the market. Well, I think we're experiencing some dippage, right? There we go.
Yeah, well, JPAL basically came out and said December is not guaranteed. So, these guys just love causing volatility. Like, dude, just shut the front door, and decide on a direction, right? Like, just make a decision. Like, indecision is the root of like all freaking turmoil. Anyway,
I couldn't agree more. We got the VIX up to almost to 17. Nick, do you care? Do you care that what's happening right now?
No, but I'd rather see somewhat of a chop weekday today.
We just went red, by the way, for the day.
Yeah. Thursday is always, kind of a sheeping day. So anytime we see a strong Thursday, it's always a pleasant surprise. So
this is happening with monster earnings coming up in the next 2 days, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Like if you put any value into what's happening today, without the context of what the next couple of days holds in terms of earnings, it's these events happen often. They're the zero DTE days, right?
Yep.
You get that trend reversal and shorts keep piling in. You get this disgusting red bar, aka 3 Fridays ago, and then you see no follow through. So tomorrow will be important for sure, because if the earnings miss, this will get disgusting.
Well, we've got earnings today and earnings tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So there's huge earnings this evening with Microsoft, Meta, and Google. And then tomorrow after the bell, we have Amazon, Coinbase, Apple, and for those who celebrate MicroStrategy or strategy, which is getting absolutely demolished right now below the pivot. If anybody cares, hey guys, we haven't done it in a while, but you want to take some chart requests or look at some things that the chat's saying. Hi chat, I'm sorry we've neglected you. We love you. It's just been we were together not so long ago, and we've just had we just like to talk amongst ourselves sometimes. So we love you.
Wait, why do we have spam in the chat? What the hell?
Jared Kenna, Telegram channel. Let's get him out of here. I don't know who can do that, but I blocked him. Anyway, do we want to talk some other charts, because we've got several in the chat, or do you guys have something else you want to just reminisce on for 15 more minutes?
Yeah, let's go with
Elon some more. I know GP wants to talk about Elon.
I was thinking about crypto, because I kind of think we're sitting on kind of that 107, 108 floor, and Bitcoin, I think that it's important that we kind of hold this here. I think if we do start to see some more weakness come in, I think we would be pushing down to like 95,000 is kind of the next. Like if we do take a leg down, that's kind of where I think we're heading. But obviously, it kind of looks like.
Actually, shout out to Trader Ty. He and I were talking about this Wednesday night, I believe, while we were at dinner, Nick. I think that if that were to happen, it's going to be fast and scary, and people are going to be shitting bricks.
Sure.
So I could absolutely see something come down into that 100 level. If 101 breaks, if that 50-week moving average breaks, you're going to have everybody running for the door, and that could cause a fast and precipitous drop. However, I'm going to go back to the daily because I don't look at the dailies at all. But I would be remiss if I didn't see that right there.
Yeah, I was going to say I see that too, for sure.
And this would be the perfect spot in this chart, if I go back out to the weekly, for that to play out and resolve higher. I have a bias, obviously. I'm a big crypto person, as we've talked about many times in the past. But yeah, I like it right here. GP, are you still holding your ETH bag?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, what else am I going to do with it? I bought it in at 2,100.
Yeah,
hold on
for
to
sure.
it.
And look at these wicks,
Right,
Nick.
right.
Here's another thing. Like I got it on Ethereum now. Like, look at these wicks, right? Like every time it comes in, it's getting bought up. And we're early in the weekly right now. But again, I can zoom out or zoom into the daily, and you can see the point of contention right there, right?
Yep.
So nothing is broken, just like right now the Qs are down. Nothing is broken. Is there anything that you like about the crypto market, Nick, or are you just kind of waiting and seeing?
I mean, I kind of like, I'm just kind of, for the most part, waiting and seeing, but I obviously like have my crypto shit on. I want to see us kind of push out of here though. Like I'm not really looking to add even on weakness right now. I want to see us kind of push out of this range that we've been into for like going on a year now. You know, like XRP for instance, you know, has been in a range since last November. So once we start to see some range expansion is kind of when I'd like to kind of leg into some of these, but you know, that means like, you know, Ethereum pushing above like 4,200 and like staying above it, ultimately breaking out. I mean, it's just kind of like it's a waiting game regardless right now because it's so fucking boring in this range that it's in, to the point where it's like even if it does, you know, capitulate lower and probably provide some low risk like puke entries, it's like, am I going to be so bored and worn out that I'm even gonna? I mean, I better put my fucking orders in now is really what I need to do. You know, because I bet you if you know if Bitcoin rolled, you know, I bet you we could get Ethereum back around 3,000, 3,100 if we got a Bitcoin flush.
So I'm gonna use GP's logic on UNH. I think if you get a flush under that 101, I don't necessarily think you want to touch it immediately, Nick.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
You might get a good stink bid, but then all the patterns, the way the chart's behaving has changed significantly, right?
Yeah.
And I think you got to let it set up again. I was someone shared this with me right here, that this is kind of their base.
Sure.
So somewhere down here. And I think you would have people losing everything if Bitcoin had a $70,000 price mark on it anytime in the near future. I think you would have people absolutely setting their hair on fire. So I hope that doesn't happen. It's a possibility. Anything can happen, but I don't want to see it. Let's do some charts.
Yeah.
Let's do some charts. ANET is the first one I see. That's for AAXAA. I don't know how you want to pronounce that, but you have shared some awesome setups. I really like Arista. What about you guys? You see anything here you like?
Yeah, I like it taken out. I mean, pretty much, again, like if you're not in a position and you're looking to buy the breakout here, I'd be buying through the high of that. Looks like the October 13th candle, so like that high.
Yep.
I mean, the thing looks like a freaking beast. That, or if you're really high conviction, I'd be looking at trying to grab it versus like the 10 or the 20 day if it starts to pull back and kind of tighten up here.
GP, is this one that you'd play on the breakout, or you'd wait for it to settle down a little bit?
I don't. So based on my current portfolio, I wouldn't, because I'm long Intel and AMD.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. So for me, it looks like it's hammering on the weekly right below that 162 level. This is the conversation of Lam Research back in the day. Is like, take it out, and I rather have a more desirable effect, right? You take that out, then you have a pivot that you can trade against. Yes, it's a little bit higher, but we're $1 and something away. Like,
Just wait.
I'm gonna wait for it. Or if we pull back and retest if we get general market weakness, right? If we retest the 133 to 135 level area, like, I wouldn't be buying the breakouts have been working, right? So we're not failing anymore. Look at Nvidia breakout, AMD breakout, Google breakout. I can go across the board on so many more breakouts that are working, that have the stage 1 bases already accomplished. Wayfair. So I would buy the breakout because they have been working. If
you were so inclined.
Yeah. Like, if they haven't been working, then no, I wouldn't be even buying that.
Yeah.
But we have been breaking out. So just something to keep in mind, right? Technical shift this year that we didn't have prior years.
All right. I see quad U's in there, Energy Fuels and GLW. GP, you want to tackle both of them or neither of them?
Nick, get started. My internet is a bit slow, so I'm just waiting for the chart to load.
On GLW.
Got GLW up. It's up and to the right forever, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, you don't have like it. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It looks obviously fantastic, but there's no entry in it currently. Got it put in. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, like 3-week tight at 65. Another tight spot, kind of around 78. Another one at like 84. You've got a lot of like tight spots, kind of as it's been trending higher. Hopefully, whoever's in it was kind of buying the breakout in the in the 40s or even like
nearly
the mid
50% since April.
Yeah, fantastic. Nice. Who is it? Yeah, nice catch.
But I wouldn't call that parabolic.
No, I think it still hasn't even pushed into all-time highs yet. So
I just made a joke, Nick.
Oh, sorry. All you're looking for at this point is for like a VCP to set up. But I mean, what would ultimately look good is like a 3 to 6 month base up here would probably look the best. But you may or may not get it. Obviously, if you don't get it, the stronger the stock is.
Energy Fuels, you.
Sorry, I keep ranting.
No, you're good.
You. Man, yeah. You're basically sitting in a 3-week tight right now. Even like grabbing it right here at $20. I mean, I'd risk the low of the week, so I'd risk down to like 17. And you're just kind of playing like if I was in it right now or like getting in it right now, I'd be playing it versus the 3-week tight. So, yeah, where would I be thinking that thing? Let's see. It kind of looks like it wants to run up to like about. I'd have a target like around 40. Probably a gap fill at 42 is kind of where I would be looking to either exit the trade or take some off.
Nice. So you're looking at basically a double from here still.
Yeah, I mean it does look a little bit extended, but pending this market keeps up, I mean, it looks good to me. I mean, you're in a dead money spot here too. So even if you're playing the 3-week tight and entering here, you might want to give it a time stop too, because if trend doesn't, with how far and how fast it's run, if it doesn't take out that pivot high, you could run into a situation where, like, yeah, you got a great price because you bought it kind of versus, let's say, the low end of a range build out here. But if all of a sudden you get stuck and trapped in a range that goes from 1750, 18 to, like, let's just say 23, 24, it could, like I said, it could build out for 3+ months.
So would you buy here, or would you try to get lower to 17, or would you just buy straight down to 17 if it happens?
Yeah, I'd have a starter on here at the very least. The only reason I'm saying under the low of the week and stopping out around 17 is just being that price is already pretty extended. So it's like, if it does start to roll and want to kind of go into a base building period, I don't want to be stuck in it.
All right, I see a SoFi out there being requested. I'm not going to mention. I won't bring up SoFi, Nick, but I'll let you talk about SoFi, since I am so long on SoFi for so long. You. I mean,
it looks as pretty as Coin and Hood did for Hood went on its run. I think it looks very similar to Coin. And my guess with both Coin and SoFi is I would imagine when Bitcoin ultimately goes on this next run, I think is what will probably drive these things higher. But I don't know. I don't know what to. Yeah, it's a gorgeous chart. I mean, it looks like it's a fucking gorgeous chart. I don't even know what to really say about it.
Other than undercutting this 50, I mean, it looks exactly the way you want to see things sort of stair step and take it to the next level higher, right?
Yeah, totally. You've got the long-term moving averages kind of like they're taking out your pivot high too, where you really should be long. Like if you're looking at this, like you really should be long in the teens somewhere. Between 15 and probably 18 is really, probably between 14 and 18 is like realistically should be your entry if this was like a stock that you were really wanting to be involved in. But God, it looks really good. Yeah, I don't know.
Or you could be long from sub $5.
That too. Like then you have the whole stage 1 base underneath you. You got the stage 1 base retest. I mean, it's right now it's technically in just a stage 2, a resumed stage 2 uptrend. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't really get much better. Nice job on that. I regret not. I mean, I've got Hood from pretty fucking low, but I do regret not hitting SoFi when you
off right now, and we're wrapping up the show. So I asked him in the chat for his final word. Hey Nick, what's your final word? I'm sorry, JPAL didn't make it on the show today, but maybe we'll try for next time.
Yeah. Final word. Just the market seems to be lifting quite a bit from what I can tell. I don't know. Like I say, every fucking week, it's like just manage your risk, take it a day at a time. You don't need to be all in, all out, and just keep riding your fucking winners, man.
GP's back. His final word.
Long Tesla. Screw Elon for holding the stock hostage, and let's go. Yeah, that took a minute. Thanks, Ryan, for letting me back in.
Yeah, thanks.
Love you guys.
My final word is, hey, if you didn't watch our show yesterday, go check it out. We posted it everywhere on all our stuff. But check out our Call with Cookie. You'll love it. If you don't take anything away from it, I don't know how you understand or comprehend market structure or what's going on. But hopefully, I think he did a great job of explaining that. So that was a really long final word. We love you. Thank you, chat. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everybody over at Stocktwits. You've been watching the Community Rip Live. We'll see you next Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here on Stocktwits.